Hi there YouTube, this is Vargas XX78 with another Tales from the Vargas Vault. I actually wanted to make this video yesterday because yesterday was the series finale of Smallville. Now, throughout my life, I can count the TV series I've seen from the very first pilot episode till the end with one hand. And Smallville is one of those shows that the premise sounded incredible. I mean, it was a show about the origins of Clark Kent, otherwise known as Superman. And I saw the first episode, thought it was really cool, and I've followed the series ever since. And yesterday was the very last episode. After 10 seasons, 10 years of storylines, everything culminated yesterday, and I wanted to make the video right then and there, but I decided to think about it, reflect on what I had seen, and finally make this video that you're watching. And I can honestly say, as far as series finales, it was a really, really good series finale. I mean, I was a little worried because it's a 2-hour series finale that they weren't going to be able to wrap everything up. And, with commercials and everything, man, they put a lot of commercials, but with commercials and everything, it was an hour and 40 minutes, tops. And they had a bunch of stuff to clear out of the way. They had to resolve the wedding of Lois Lane and Clark Kent, the whole Dark Side storyline, and the return of Lex Luthor. But they did an incredible job and a lot of really good, memorable moments, and finished off the series the way I hoped it would be. Bunch of stuff to talk about. I mean, Smallville is an interesting show because, like I said, it does follow the origins of Clark Kent, and it does take elements from the comic books and the movies. It created its own timeline, its own mythology, and it works. The best things about Smallville in general are definitely going to be Lionel Luthor, who's the father of Lex Luthor, and Chloe Sullivan. They're original characters that were created specifically for the TV show, and they both were awesome, especially because of the actors. Allison Mack, who played Chloe, and John Glover, who played Lionel Luthor. Epic in everything they did, especially because those two characters in specific went through so much during the series. Chloe went from being a reporter to a cub reporter in the Daily Planet to an Oracle version in Watchtower to being someone that takes care of superheroes. Lionel Luthor went from this abusive, tyrannical father figure to Lex. He's the main reason that planted the seed for evil in Lex. Then he went to jail. He was dying. Then he got possessed by the spirit of Jor-El, and then he kind of was good. But then it was revealed that he was part of this secret group that was after Clark, and he got killed, and he came back as an alternate reality. Lionel Luthor came back into the show. Just a whole big bunch of things that happened to those main characters. So those are definitely the best parts of Smallville. The interaction between Lex Luthor. Lex Luthor, I didn't think would work introducing Lex Luthor into the origins of Clark Kent, but it was really awesome to watch Lex go from this guy that wanted to do good to eventually becoming a terrible bad guy. And a lot of main characters, the parents, Jonathan and Martha Kent, were always awesome, always epic. They showed that they really wanted to protect, and they loved Clark. I wasn't too sure about when they introduced Lois Lane so early into the timeline, but wow, no, Lois Lane worked on so many levels. I never found what Clark saw in Lana Lang. Not to take anything away from Kristen Krug, who was the actress, but Erica Durance throws it out of the water. I mean, she is mega hot, and the character of Lois Lane, you can see why Clark would fall for someone like her. And then there's Clark Kent, although Clark Now I'm going to talk about the things I didn't like about Smallville that much, but here's this guy that he finds out he's from an alien planet, and he has all these abilities. And I can understand that when Smallville came out, it was during those teen angst TV shows, so they wanted to give that to Superman, how he would struggle between having all these incredible powers and being a teenager and everything. But that never worked for me because he's Superman. I mean, his parents gave him a very strong moral compass, and he could distinguish between right and wrong, and you could sometimes feel the conflict of not taking advantage of his abilities. But honestly, there were some episodes where Clark Kent was a really, really whiny little person, and I disliked Clark Kent. But through the 10 seasons, he has matured as a character until finally becoming Superman. And last night's series finale was top notch. Like I said, they were trying to resolve a whole bunch of things, and the first thing that they resolved is the wedding of Lois and Clark Kent. Lois wasn't sure about marrying Clark Kent because she thought she was going to hold him back from his destiny, which came kind of left field because she was the one that was supporting Clark to be, the best superhero that he could be. So that seemed kind of last-minute turmoil to make her cancel off the wedding. But Clark was pretty sure it was going to happen. Then when he started having doubts, Lois read his vows, and then Clark read her vows, so everything resolved, and they were going to get married. Then that happens, and a lot of really cool things, because the ghost of Jonathan Kent, who died a whole bunch of seasons past, reappears, and he's in the wedding. It was a really good moment where Lois Lane was walking down the aisle, and Clark was nowhere to be found, and then Clark stands right beside her, and they both walk down the aisle. I thought that was pretty cool. Then the Darkseid thing kicks in, and the wedding gets postponed because Oliver Queen, who was Green Arrow, who was also another really good addition to the series. I forgot to mention him. But Oliver Queen was possessed by Darkseid, and they were going to put a gold kryptonite ring on Clark. So they have this really cool battle, and Clark eventually brings out the better in Oliver, and he breaks Darkseid influence. So now he has to fight against Darkseid. While that's happening, Lionel Luthor is trying to bring back Lex. For this, he brings in Tess Mercer, another character I forgot to mention. When she was introduced into Smallville, I thought that she was going to be Mercy, the bodyguard for Lex in the animated series, but it turns out that she's actually Lex's sister. But Lionel was going to kill Tess to bring Lex back because he needed a heart, and Tess ends up killing Lionel, well, shooting him, and then Darkseid pops up, tells Lionel that he can save Lex in exchange for his soul. And then Darkseid possesses Lionel and brings back Lex Luthor. Now, a lot of people weren't sure if Michael Rosenbaum was going to reprise his role as Lex, but for the finale he did, and he did a really awesome job as Lex. Lex is actually the last person that kind of inspires Clark to become Superman, so I thought that was a very nice touch. So then he meets up with Lex, and everything's going on, and then he goes back to the farm to get a crystal for the fortress. That's when he meets up against zombie Lionel Darkseid, and then Darkseid throws him through the air, and that's when everything freezes, and we have this really, really awesome scene where Jor-El is showing Clark through crystals all the big scenes in Smallville. That was a really, really good look back at the series. I thought that was really well done. And then he realizes that he's finally at the point where he's going to achieve his destiny, and that's when he flies. I mean, I think a running joke in Smallville is that everyone can fly except Clark. To see him actually hover and then fly towards Lionel Darkseid, I thought that was pretty epic. He goes into the fortress, and Jor-El says that he's proud of him, and then reveals the Superman suit. But what topped that is when Jonathan Kent appears before Clark and then hands him the Superman suit. I thought that was a really good moment. Just really cool. So then Clark puts on the costume. Even though you don't see Tom Welling in the full Superman costume, you got a kind of a CGI Superman. But he goes around, he saves Lewis, who was stuck in a plane with the president, and then he flies off and probably tops whatever was seen in the comics book, because Darkseid was able to summon forth the planet Apocalypse from the comic books, and he was going to smash it into Earth. And it's a planet. I mean, it looked like a huge thing. And then Superman, because he's now Superman, flies in, pushes the damn thing into space. So pretty much proven that Smallville's version of Superman is pretty badass and pretty strong there. And then Lex meets up with Tess, and then Lex reveals that he knew all along that Tess was Lex's sister. And then, you know, he sees that Tess might go down his own path and eventually turn evil, so he ends up stabbing Tess Mercer. And as she's dying, Lex says that he was trying to save her, but then Tess injected her prior to this with, it's never shown, but she injected herself with this neurotoxin, and basically she touches Lex, so that's how she transmitted the neurotoxin. And what that appears to do is that it erases all of Lex's memories of Smallville. It's not really clear what memories got deleted, but you know, it shows flashback of all of Lex's you know, big scenes in Smallville, mirroring what happened with Clark in his fight with Darkseid. So, and then the whole thing shoots 7 years in the future. And you know, we see the Daily Planet, and the news show that Lex Luthor has been named President of the United States in 2018, which, you know, again takes that element from the comic books, because in the comic books Lex Luthor actually became the President of the United States. So that was another touch, and it was hinted at very early in the series that when they meet this lady that could touch you and she could foretell the future, she foretold that Lex would become the president. So also cool that they you know, remembered that they did that. So then Lewis and Clark are still together. They haven't married, but they're going to marry. And then they bring back Jimmy Olsen. Jimmy Olsen was killed by Doomsday, but it was then revealed that it wasn't the real Jimmy Olsen. It was Jimmy's older brother. But he grows up looking exactly like Jimmy Olsen. But they brought him back. And then as they're talking, Lewis and Clark, as they're talking about their marriage that's finally going to happen, some random guy comes in and he says that someone put a bomb in an elevator. And Lewis is like, well, you gotta do what you gotta do. Clark zooms out of the building and he reaches the roof. And then as he's walking into the camera, he, you know, takes off his shirt and reveals the Superman symbol underneath, and then it cuts, and they start passing the John Williams theme for Superman, and that ended the series. I'm really glad that they actually gave it a good ending, because a lot of TV shows, nowadays they just get canceled and they have no final episode. They're just like, if you're lucky, you get a season finale, and that still leaves a lot of things up in the air, but not a definitive end episode. And Smallville, I'm really happy it did get that. So, yeah, good episode, good series. But now I'm gonna have to find something else to watch, because a lot of shows are ending. But that's it. Just wanted to share with you guys this 10-year-long epic journey till the end of Smallville. Until I see you all again, this is Vargas XX78 signing off.